Welcome to ISOF's Electronic Correspondence module, or ECM for short. The following demonstration will show you how this system can help you to produce inpatient discharge summaries conforming to local data collection requirements, which can be sent electronically to the patient's GP, and how this system can be integrated with your organisation's patient administration system. In this case, the patient centre user selects a patient from a ward list and launches ECM, taking the user directly to the discharge summary for the patient's current episode. The discharge summary document is populated from data supplied from linked systems such as the PAS and from data entered directly into the application via various customisable forms linked to an appropriate template. The summary builds automatically as more data is collected through the various stages in the workflow. Patient demographic information is populated directly from the PAS interface. Optional forms such as individual therapy and nursing forms can be added to the discharge summary as and when required. Like the standard forms, these can be customised to suit your organisation's individual requirements. Here you can see a dietitian form being added to the summary. The clinical details form stores clinical information for the patient. In this example, you can see the type of information included. However, this form can be customised. The form can be configured to include fields that collect required reporting information, such as sequin data. Fields can be made mandatory, so the quality, quantity and accuracy of your data collection is significantly increased. You can specify whether forms have to be authorised, and if so, by which user group or groups. Without authorisation of the appropriate forms, the final discharge summary cannot be sent. Once the form is authorised, the data becomes read-only, although it can be deauthorised if more data or data amendments are required. The medication form is used to add drug prescription details for the patient. This form also displays relevant information from the clinical details form that could affect prescribing decisions, such as allergies, and for paediatric patients, height, weight and BMI details. When adding drugs, dosage amounts, frequency, length of dose and the route can be preset for each drug if required, or as a global setting. When completing the prescription, there are options to include details of the patient's own supply of drugs, add admission drugs, and state whether the GP is to continue prescribing the medication after discharge. Reducing dose details and indications can also be added. This screen shows some examples of different types of drugs and various ways of adding prescribing instructions. The entry in red with a padlock icon marks this drug as a control drug, and these can automatically trigger a printout of the prescription for signature if required. There are separate icons for alert and anticoagulant drugs too. A medicine reconciliation option is also available if required. Here, the drug warfarin is being added to the prescription. When adding drugs, there is the option to filter on drug names as they are typed in, or the user can select from a drop-down list. As warfarin is an anticoagulant drug, a red heart icon is displayed. When adding an anticoagulant drug, the mandatory anticoagulant form is added to the summary. This form must be completed before the prescription can be authorised. The data collected by the anticoagulant form can be customised to suit the organisation's requirements. Once the prescription has been authorised, it can be sent to the pharmacy for dispensing, or the drugs may be dispensed on the ward. Hospitals with more than one pharmacy can allocate a preferred pharmacy to a ward, and this is where the prescription will be sent. If the satellite pharmacy is closed, the prescription will be redirected to the main pharmacy. Pharmacists have their own view, which enables them to only see summaries with prescribed drugs that have been sent to the pharmacy for prescribing. The different colours of the summaries in the pharmacy homepage are time-related alerts that show which summaries have been waiting in pharmacy the longest. Prescriptions with anticoagulant drugs included will display the red heart icon. The status column shows the current stage of the summary workflow. The pharmacy view of the medication form is the same as that on the ward view. The pharmacist can clearly see the patient's allergy information and the drugs prescribed. The pharmacist can add, correct, amend, or delete any item on a prescription. In this example, the pharmacist is amending the dosage for the drug morphine. The tracking of changes to prescribed admission drugs allows support for NPSA medicines reconciliation. The original details of drugs that have been amended or deleted are retained on the medication form, but are greyed out. This enables users to view the prescription history and acts as an audit trail. Notes and queries can be added by the pharmacist, which can be seen by users in the ward view. When complete, the pharmacist can authorise the prescription, or can select other options to indicate the current status, such as the cause for any delays in authorising the prescription. The pharmacist indicates when the drugs have been dispensed, which removes a summary from the pharmacy view and allows ward staff to complete the discharge summary. The summary is now back on the ward view page, ready for progressing. The ward homepage lists the active summaries associated with the current ward. There is a colour-based alert system that indicates the length of time the summary has remained in a particular state. The status column shows the current processing stage of the summary and the date and time that the summary was last updated. Notes added by ward users or pharmacists can also be viewed here, and other flags such as an icon indicating the existence of an anticoagulant form may also be displayed. Back on the ward, the clinical details and the medication forms have now been completed and authorised. However, the management form still needs to be authorised. The management form can contain information such as admission, discharge and follow-up details. This example shows the different types of information that might be collected on this form. However, you can customise this for your own requirements. Once the relevant forms that populate the discharge summary have been authorised and the patient has been discharged, the final authorisation of the summary can be completed. At this point, the summary is sent automatically to the patient's GP practice. The completed discharge summary can be sent to the practice using different methods. The summary can be sent via fax, using the NHS Mail Gateway, as an NHS email attachment in HTML, Microsoft Word or plain text format, or as an XML message that can be incorporated directly into a GP system via the DTS, Data Transfer Service, or an EDT Docman server. A preferred delivery method can be specified for each GP practice. Once completed, copies of the discharge summary can be printed for various purposes, such as case notes, or for the patient to take away. The data entered into the different forms has populated the final discharge summary template. That concludes the demonstration of iSoft ECM. We hope that this has helped to show you how beneficial this system would be to your organisation. However, if you have any queries or require any further clarification, please contact your account manager or the sales desk using the contact details on the screen. Many thanks for your time.